All right, let's jump right in. We're living in a world that's becoming more public by the day, right? But when it comes to our money, how much transparency is actually too much? Today, we're going to unpack this huge dilemma that sits right at the heart of digital money. This massive collision between the need for a totally transparent network and our fundamental right to privacy. To really wrap our heads around this, let's just forget about all the code and cryptography for a second. We're going to start with a simple human story. So meet Joao and Maria. Joao was in a bit of a bind, needed some cash for an urgent debt, and his friend Maria helped him out. You know, a pretty standard situation, something most of us can relate to. But, of course, time goes by. The loan's due, but Joao's just not ready. He has to ask for an extension. Again, this is something that happens all the time. It's a private matter between two people. Or is it? And this right here is where everything changes. Maria's just scrolling through her phone, and bam! She sees a picture of Joao living it up, barbecue, friends, the whole thing. And all of a sudden, that private, friendly agreement feels very, very public. All the context is gone, and what's left is just this one piece of public data that creates instant friction. So here's the crucial point. It doesn't even matter who was right or wrong. Maybe Zhao's friends paid for everything. Maybe he desperately needed that break for his mental health. The real problem is that when you have complete transparency without any context, it almost always leads to judgment. It leads to conflict. It completely changes the dynamic. Okay, so let's take this idea and scale it way up. What if the platform we're talking about wasn't Instagram, a place for sharing photos, but a financial network, a place where every single transaction you ever make is public for the world to see? The stakes just got a whole lot higher. So let's swap out our characters. Imagine Juan isn't a person anymore, but a business trying to get a loan. And Maria isn't a friend, but a competitor, a rival bank, or maybe a creditor. All of a sudden, the consequences of that public barbecue, that piece of financial data, become absolutely catastrophic. And trust me, these dangers are very real. If your company's biggest payments are public, a rival bank can just see that and swoop right in to steal your best clients with a better offer. Your competitors could analyze who you're paying to reverse engineer your entire business strategy. And for you personally, every single purchase you make is out there, open to scrutiny, potentially affecting everything from your credit score to your insurance, maybe even your job prospects. And look, this isn't just some theoretical thought experiment. This is the exact challenge facing brand new forms of digital money, like central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs. These are literally digital versions of a country's own currency. And projects like Brazil's Drex could be built on public networks, where, without some kind of privacy solution, every single transaction is totally exposed. This brings us right to the heart of the dilemma. It's a real tug of war. On one hand, for a digital currency network to be trusted, it has to be transparent. You've got to be able to audit it and verify everything. But on the other hand, for people to actually use it safely, their transactions must be private to prevent all those problems we just talked about. These two needs are in direct opposition to each other. So how do you get one without sacrificing the other? I mean, how do you have your cake and eat it too? Well, that is the billion-dollar question. Trying to layer real, meaningful privacy on top of a transparent system without completely breaking it is honestly one of the hardest problems in computer science today. In fact, it is so incredibly difficult that even giant corporations, the ones with enormous teams and practically unlimited resources, have tried and failed to deliver a truly workable solution to this exact problem. And it's this challenge, this seemingly impossible problem, that the creators of this source material set out to solve. Their solution? A system they call Harpo. So how on earth does it work? Well, Harpo is built on this mind-bending piece of cryptography called a zero-knowledge proof. Now, the easiest way to think about it is this. It's like a mathematical magic trick. It lets you prove that something is true without revealing any of the secret information that makes it true. It's like proving you have enough money for a transaction without ever revealing your account balance or even who you are. This amazing technology is what allows Harpo to do three key things all at once. First, it gives users total transaction privacy. Second, it allows for what's called selective auditability, which just means a specific authority can still check things if they really need to, but without opening it all up to the public. And third, it does all of this while staying perfectly in sync with the main Drex network. It solves both sides of the dilemma. Now, creating this was not simple. It's the product of years of intense research, some really complex engineering, and, as they put it, just sheer stubbornness to crack this critical problem. So after all the theory, all the complex math and cryptography, the creators make one very simple, very powerful claim. It's not just an idea, it's not a prototype, it works. And that really leaves us with a final thought to chew on. As our financial lives become more and more digital, this battle between transparency and privacy is going to define everything. So the question we all need to start asking ourselves is, what is the true price of privacy? And what are we willing to do to protect it?